是天地之力炼丹，这是炼制九品玄丹的手法。
Imagine standing at the absolute pinnacle of your entire profession, achieving a lifelong dream, and bringing honor to your master, only to realize that the grand stage you are standing on is actually the center of an inescapable slaughterhouse. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are breaking down one of the most tragic, high-stakes, and chaotic sequences in all of Battle Through the Heavens episode 209. We are talking about the absolute massacre at the Yao clan medicine ceremony, a bloodbath that permanently shifted the power dynamics of the Doqi continent and forced Xiaoyan to unleash an apocalyptic, 8-color fire lotus just to survive. Let us get right down to the details. To understand the sheer tragedy of this event, we have to look at the immediate context. The Yao clan medicine ceremony was supposed to be a historic celebration. Xiaoyan had just accomplished the impossible. He had successfully refined a 9th-tier mysterious pill. With this godlike feat of alchemy, Xiaoyan officially established himself as the undisputed greatest alchemist on the entire Doqi continent. But this was not just a personal victory. This was about justice. By dominating the ceremony, Xiaoyan finally cleared the name of his beloved teacher, Yao Lao, erasing 1,000 years of humiliation and injustice. Furthermore, he secured the ultimate sign of respect, having the names of Yao Lao's parents officially engraved upon the Yao clan ancestral monument. The entire Yao realm erupted into a massive celebration. The atmosphere was triumphant. Everyone present firmly believed that this grand gathering would end in glory and feasting. None of them realized that they were trapped inside a meticulously prepared, genocidal death trap. The Hun clan had not come to compete. They had come to exterminate. The illusion of peace shattered the moment Hun Shuzi, a representative of the Hun clan who had been hiding his true intentions all along, dropped his disguise. He openly and brazenly demanded that the Yao clan surrender their fragment of the Tosha ancient god jade. This jade is one of the most coveted artifacts in the world, holding the key to the Du God realm. Yao Wanhuo, a highly respected elder of the Yao clan, flew into a predictable rage and immediately attacked. But Hun Shuzi did not even flinch. He unleashed his true cultivation base, the terrifying might of a 7-star Do Saint. With a single, casual palm strike, Hun Shuzi sent Elder Wanhuo flying backward, vomiting blood. The crowd panicked, and the horrifying reality set in. The entire Yao realm had already been completely sealed off from the outside world. The cultivators trapped inside desperately threw themselves against the spatial barriers, trying to find a way out, but they could not find even the smallest structural weakness in the surrounding space. The Hun clan lockdown was absolute. And then, the true nightmare began. The true body of the Nihility devouring flame descended upon the Yao realm. If you know the lore, you know exactly why this is a death sentence. The Nihility devouring flame is ranked second on the Heavenly Flame ranking. To put that into perspective, it is vastly more terrifying and destructive than the purifying demonic lotus flame. The Nihility devouring flame possesses a terrifying level of sentience and an unquenchable hunger. The moment it arrived, it split into countless shadowy, devouring creatures and began madly consuming the Doqi and the literal life force of every living being in the realm. Panic swept through the Yao clan like a plague. Cultivators were being drained dry where they stood. With his people being slaughtered and his realm collapsing, Clan Chief Yao Dan had no other choice. He forcefully activated the clan protection formation, a supreme defensive array that the Yao clan had inherited and maintained for countless generations. Every single member of the Yao clan, regardless of their cultivation strength, initiated a forbidden technique, pouring every last ounce of their Doqi into the grand formation. Through their combined, desperate power, they managed to summon their ultimate trump card, the remnant soul of the Yao clan ancient ancestor. This ancestral soul radiated the unfathomable aura of an 8-star Du Saint. For a brief, shining moment, the entire clan rallied, prepared to fight the Hun clan invaders to the bitter end. But the difference in absolute strength between the two sides was simply too immense. Under the relentless, corrosive erosion of the Nihility devouring flame, the Yao clan ancestral protection formation began to violently shudder, cracking and shattering inch by inch. In a display of horrifying dominance, the Nihility devouring flame completely overpowered the ancestral remnant soul. It swallowed the 8-star entity whole, leaving absolutely no trace behind. The situation had become completely hopeless. Yao Dan stared up at the Nihility devouring flame in absolute horror. In that moment, a crushing realization washed over him. There was no victory here. There was no grand comeback. The Yao clan, as a major power on the Doqi continent, was going to be wiped out today. Moving faster than thought, Yao Dan flashed down to the ground. With a sweep of his sleeve, he forcibly gathered dozens of the Yao clan most talented younger generation into his grasp. With bloodshot eyes, he roared toward the sky with all his remaining strength, commanding the Yao clan elders to self-destruct and destroy the sealed space. He told them that they might sacrifice themselves, but they had to preserve the seeds of their clan bloodline. It was a heart-wrenching, agonizing command that caused the bodies of countless Yao clan experts in the sky to violently tremble. Faced with the absolute extinction of their entire bloodline and the choice to sacrifice their own lives to give their children a chance, the elders made their decision without a single second of hesitation. Dazzling, blinding light suddenly erupted from the bodies of the Yao clan elders across the sky. They actively reversed their cultivation, forcing their Doqi to become violently unstable, surging rapidly toward the critical point of detonation. Up in the sky, Hun Shuzi saw this, and his smug expression finally changed. He realized they intended to self-destruct. Even though the Hun clan had meticulously reinforced the spatial seal around the realm, the simultaneous suicidal detonation of so many high-level cultivators would generate enough raw, chaotic energy to actually tear open a spatial crack. Hun Shuzi knew he needed to stop this, but the nihility-devouring flame was fully occupied. It had transformed itself into countless devouring entities spread across the entire realm, consuming the living beings. It had no attention to spare for a few fleeing youths. Realizing that the Yao clan might actually blow a hole in their net, Hun Shuzi quickly took a black scroll from his storage ring and crushed it. The scroll instantly ignited, transforming into a flaming spatial passage. Several shadowy figures immediately shot out from within the flaming passage, bringing with them a cold, sinister aura that literally froze the ambient temperature of the battlefield. The Hun clan true experts had finally arrived. At the front of this group were two terrifying elderly men, Hun Jing and Hun Yan. These two were absolute monsters. They were known as two of the Hun clan four demon saints. Both Hun Jing and Hun Yan were incredibly powerful Do saints. Yao Dan looked up at them with deep, venomous hatred, noting that the Hun clan had dispatched two of their demon saints at once, showing just how highly they thought of the Yao clan. The elder at the front just smiled faintly, completely unfazed by the carnage around him. He casually offered Yao Dan a deal. He told Yao Dan that the Yao clan alchemy was still somewhat useful to the Hun clan. If they agreed to become a subordinate clan, perhaps they would allow their bloodline to survive. Yao Dan did not even hesitate. He declared that the Yao clan would rather shed its final drop of blood than submit to the Hun clan and live in humiliation. The Hun clan elder was not surprised by this answer. He simply waved his hand and delivered a chilling, indifferent order to his subordinates, telling them to leave no survivors. The Hun clan experts behind Hun Jing and Hun Yan revealed savage expressions, responded in unison, and descended upon the Yao clan like a black tidal wave. As the Hun clan experts attacked, the light surrounding one Yao clan elder suddenly reached its brightest point. An extremely violent force erupted in the sky. The first Yao clan expert had self-destructed. His sacrifice seemed to ignite the determination of the others. The light within the bodies of numerous Yao clan experts intensified rapidly before they detonated one after another. The sealed space began to distort under the continuous explosions, and tiny cracks slowly appeared across it. Seeing the cracks form, Yao Dan felt a brief flash of joy, but beneath that joy lay immeasurable grief. Only a short while earlier, the Yao clan had been peaceful and prosperous. Now, countless clansmen lay dead, while the survivors were forced to destroy themselves merely to create a path of escape. He roared for them to continue. At his command, even more Yao clan experts detonated the Doqi within their bodies without hesitation. But Hun Jing was not going to just sit there and watch. With a cold snort, he swept his sleeve, unleashing monstrous black energy that transformed into a gigantic hand. He seized the Yao clan experts who were attempting to self-destruct near the weakened section of space and hurled them far away. Any explosion occurring elsewhere would be completely useless. Seeing Hun Jing interfere, Yao Dan immediately called out to Elder Wanhuo. Not far away, Elder Wanhuo was covered in blood. The moment he heard Yao Dan call, he charged forward without hesitation. Several powerful Yao clan elders followed behind him, the Doqi within all of their bodies already beginning to boil violently. But Hun Shuzi flickered into existence, instantly appearing before Elder Wanhuo. He moved both hands and through his strength alone, dragged Elder Wanhuo and the other elders into a fierce battle, stopping them in their tracks. When Yao Dan saw that even Wanhuo and his group had been restrained by the Hun clan, the fury in his eyes intensified. He cursed the Hun clan. His gaze quickly swept across the battlefield before finally settling upon Zhao Yan. With a flash, he appeared directly before the young alchemist. Yao Dan looked into Xiao Yan's eyes. He explained that the experts of the Yao clan would use their self-destruction to tear open a spatial crack and give him an opportunity to escape. Yao Dan, a proud man who had never begged anyone in his life, pleaded with Xiao Yan to help preserve the final trace of the Yao clan bloodline. Xiao Yan looked into Yao Dan's bloodshot eyes, and his heart grew incredibly heavy. At that moment, he also needed the Yao clan sacrifices to break through the sealed space. He could not refuse. He promised clan chief Yao Dan that he would do everything within his power. Elder Shenong, a legendary alchemist who was also present, flew over and sighed. He told the old fellow that he would help as well. Yao Dan told them to prepare themselves. He declared that he would personally hold back Hun Jing and Hun Yan, while the other elders would help tear open the surrounding space. The moment he finished speaking, Yao Dan stomped violently through the air and shot upward like a meteor. He immediately became locked in a fierce, desperate battle with both Hun Jing and Hun Yan. At the same time, the remaining Yao clan elders rushed toward the same section of space and detonated themselves one after another. The distortion in that area became increasingly violent. Tiny black flame runes emerged from the spatial seal, only to explode beneath the repeated impacts of the violent energy. Xiao Yan shouted for everyone to move. He led Yao Tian, Yao Ling, and the surviving members of the younger generation, unleashing their greatest speed as they rushed toward the area where the self-destructions were concentrated. The Hun clan objective was to eliminate every living being within the Yao realm, so naturally, they had no intention of allowing Xiao Yan and his group to escape. The moment the group moved, the countless devouring creatures scattered throughout the mountains, and the Hun clan experts in the sky immediately changed targets. They surged toward Xiao Yan group from every direction like an overwhelming flood. Xiao Yan's expression tightened when he saw the enemies approaching from all sides. Before he could attack, Elder Shenong threw out his medicinal staff. A sea of green flames immediately spread across the battlefield. Countless gigantic trees suddenly grew from within the flames. Their branches twisted like vines and entangled the approaching enemies, temporarily holding back their pursuers. With that opening, Xiao Yan led the younger generation forward at even greater speed. Up above, Hun Chuzi saw Xiao Yan drawing closer to the weakened section of space. He hurriedly shouted to the nihility devouring flame, begging it to stop Xiao Yan because the young man also possessed a fragment of the To She ancient god jade. The nihility devouring flame snorted coldly. It asked Hun Chuzi if he thought it could split itself into 3 heads and 6 arms, its voice carrying obvious displeasure as it was too busy consuming the realm. On another battlefield in the sky, Hun Yan, one of the 4 demon saints, laughed softly. He told Hun Jing he would handle the escaping youths, leaving Yao Dan to him. He cast a mocking glance at the violently struggling Yao Dan, calling him foolish for truly believing he could hold back both of them by himself. As soon as his words fell, Hun Yan escaped from the battle and descended toward Xiao Yan group like a hunting eagle. His speed was terrifying. In almost an instant, he appeared directly in front of them. Xiao Yan's expression darkened when he saw yet another powerful enemy blocking their path. Hun Yan's strength was extraordinarily great. According to Xiao Yan's senses, the old man had reached at least the late stage of the 7-star Do Saint level. He was far stronger than Yao Dan. Hun Yan positioned himself directly before the damaged section of the spatial seal, meaning that Xiao Yan group would have to defeat him before they could tear open a path of escape. Xiao Yan's thoughts moved, and the North King, his incredibly durable puppet, charged toward Hun Yan without hesitation. Facing the North King's fierce attack, Hun Yan did not retreat. Monstrous Do Qi surged outward. With a wave of his palm, the energy transformed into a gigantic hand, hundreds of feet wide, and easily blocked every one of the North King attacks. Whenever Hun Yan's palm wind swept across it, the tremendous force sent the North King stumbling backward. Several deep depressions even appeared across its incredibly durable body. Although the North King possessed formidable strength, confronting an expert at the late stage of the 7-star Do Saint level was clearly beyond its ability. While the North King desperately delayed Hun Yan, a thought flashed through Xiao Yan's mind. The purifying demonic lotus flame rapidly surged through his body and completely merged with his soul. When the two became one, The purifying demonic lotus flame erupted from Zhao Yan body, like an uncontrollable beast. Zhao Yan unleashed his destruction fire body, his strongest available technique. He understood that ordinary attacks were completely useless against an opponent of this level. Once the fire body formed, Zhao Yan suddenly clenched his hand. 6 different heavenly flames swirled within his palm and rapidly merged. In only a few breaths, they condensed into a dazzling multicolored fire lotus. The instant the lotus took shape, Zhao Yan swung his arm. The destructive fire lotus shot forward like lightning, carrying a magnificent trail of flame before exploding near Hunyan. A colossal firestorm engulfed the heavens and earth. However, monstrous black energy erupted from within the storm and forcibly suppressed the raging flames. When Zhao Yan saw Hunyan emerge almost completely unharmed, his expression changed slightly. The strength of a late-stage 7-star Do Saint was truly terrifying. Elder Shenong stared at Hunyan with a grave expression, noting that the old fellow aura had become somewhat unstable. The previous attack did injure him, but it was not enough to inflict serious damage. Zhao Yan nodded. He looked at the distant Hunyan, who was wearing a cold smile, and took a deep breath. He asked Elder Shennong and Yao Tian to lend him their heavenly flames. Elder Shennong and Yao Tian were both startled, but there was no time to ask questions. Elder Shennong waved his hand and passed his medicinal staff to Zhao Yan. After a brief hesitation, Yao Tian opened his mouth and released a cluster of dark brown flames. The Turtle Spirit Earth Flame, ranked 13th on the Heavenly Flame ranking. Zhao Yan held Elder Shennong's staff in one hand and the Turtle Spirit Earth Flame in the other. His crystalline fire body emitted a strange radiance. He already possessed 6 heavenly flames. With these 2 additional flames, the fire lotus he was about to create would contain the power of 8 different heavenly flames. Its destructive might would undoubtedly be terrifying. As Zhao Yan began merging the 8 heavenly flames into a Buddha Fury flame lotus, Hunyan, who was being delayed by the North King, sensed the gathering energy. His gaze locked upon the fiery vortex above Zhao Yan's palm, and the corner of his eye twitched uncontrollably. Even he felt threatened by the power gathering within it. Hunyan suddenly struck the North King with a massive palm, sending it flying. He then flashed forward and charged directly toward Zhao Yan. Yao Lao shouted to stop him, and countless Do-Chi attacks shot through the air. Hunyan did not even bother to look at them. He swept his sleeve and shattered every attack before sneering coldly. He mocked the group of insignificant juniors for thinking they could escape from the Hun clan. He instantly appeared before Zhao Yan. His dark fingers reached forward like the claws of death, and the fierce force behind them slammed heavily into Zhao Yan's body. 5 deep wounds immediately appeared across the dragon scales covering Zhao Yan's chest. Blood continuously poured from them. Had the ancient dragon phoenix armor not protected him, that single attack might have severely wounded him. Zhao Yan was sent flying by Hunyan's strike. Yet while he flew backward, a cold smile flashed through his eyes. He softly whispered the word, "Explode." Hunyan's pupils abruptly contracted. His gaze froze upon the 8-colored fire lotus slowly rotating in front of him. Before he could react, dazzling light erupted from the lotus. Countless beams containing devastating energy shot outward in every direction. Immediately afterward, the full destructive force of the fire lotus erupted. Brilliant radiance filled the sky like a blazing sun. The intense light nearly covered the entire Yao realm. An indescribably destructive shockwave swept through the heavens. The terrifying heat even melted the surrounding mountain ranges. The violent energy raged for a long time before gradually dispersing. A black figure fell from the center of the explosion and crashed heavily into the ground. Zhao Yan looked down and vaguely saw Hunyan lying there, his entire body wrapped in black energy. His aura was far weaker than before. Elder Shenong and the others drew sharp breaths when they saw the result. It was almost impossible to imagine that Zhao Yan had pushed a late-stage 7-star Do Saint to such a miserable state. After returning the Life Spirit Flame and Turtle Spirit Earth Flame, Zhao Yan hurriedly yelled that they needed to leave now, pointing out that the space over there had been torn open by the aftermath of the explosion. His own condition was equally poor, as the energy required to create the 8-colored fire lotus had far exceeded his expectations. Only after hearing his words did the others notice that a spatial crack several dozen feet wide had appeared at the center of the destructive shockwave. Zhao Yan urged them again before taking the lead and rushing toward the spatial crack. On the ground, Hunyan's face twisted savagely as he screamed for Hunjing to stop them. Hunjing, who was still fighting Yao Dan, immediately turned gloomy. He had never expected Zhao Yan to defeat Hunyan. Just as he prepared to withdraw and intercept the fleeing youths, Yao Dan sensed his intentions. A wild and ferocious smile appeared upon Yao Dan's face. The dou-qi within his body suddenly became violently unstable. As his dou-qi reached its absolute limit, Yao Dan looked toward Xiao Yan, who was leading Yao Tian and the others into the spatial crack. A relieved smile finally appeared upon the clan chief's face. He softly thanked Xiao Yan. A moment later, an explosion no weaker than the previous 8-colored fire lotus erupted once again within the blood-soaked Yao realm. Hundreds of miles away from the Shenong mountain range, a crack suddenly appeared in the empty sky. One battered figure after another flew out from within it and landed upon a distant mountain peak. Only after everyone had emerged did they finally release the breaths they had been holding. They had escaped from that land of death.